G'day there traders and friends right around the world. Thanks a lot for joining me on this Monday afternoon market recap. What an extraordinary day we have seen across all three of the US markets. I was very proud to bring you this weekend's Pivot Point Pro analysis workshop. We had some incredible setups on the overall markets indicating higher prices. Today, look at, for instance, where the NASDAQ has closed. The NASDAQ has closed above the 5,000 level. You can see right here, this trend is continuing to the upside. The carrot is continuing to be dangled in front of the NASDAQ market. We are running. We are continuing to run. This market is strong. This market is healthy. It is exceptionally overbought. Please do not misunderstand that simple fact. We are so overbought in this bullish trend, but until we get a series of candles which indicates that these markets want to slow down, or they're looking to top, or they're going to reverse, I will keep you updated. Until then, trade in the perspective of the bullish trend. Our ultimate target on the NASDAQ is up here, just under 5,100 points. So please keep that in mind when we address these three US markets. The Dow Jones Industrial Average today appears to be breaking out of that bull flag, which I referenced in that Pivot Point Pro weekend analysis workshop. The same is true on the S&P 500, a nice little continuation on the daily candle. Yes, Friday's candle last week was looking a little ominous, but given, of course, the revised down GDP figure, almost writing off 0.5 of entire GDP percent, going back to the fourth quarter, the markets continued to shrug off this economic data, and we're just continuing to trade higher, and higher. It's a fantastic time to be involved as a swing trader. Very excited, of course, moving and transitioning further into March 15, just to see how far these markets can run, okay? So what I'll do now, I'll walk into some additional stock analysis. What I'd like to do, first of all, is talk about some stocks which I put out in that pro analysis class outside of the list, which are continuing to make some very nice moves. One of those stocks was Visa. Now, this is something which I don't generally address. It's not in our top 13 individual trade list, but it gave people an entry about 274.04. This was going back about a week ago. Now, it started to slow at that all-time high, but as at Monday's candle, look at this exceptional gap up. What an incredible move. Up almost $7 today alone. You can see a very nice hangman type of candle, a long lower wick. It gapped up. It tried to retest this gap. Strong buying pressure coming back into Visa. This thing is pushing higher. What an exceptional trade on Visa. I'm not sure if the majority of people placed this trade, but just a very nice trade. Another stock which I referenced as well was DuPont. You can see here 77.05 entry. It's up about $78.40. Nice little stair-step continuation to the upside. A very nice trade there. And also, this is a stock which I haven't referenced in some time. I was speaking about a trade on DTV, Digital TV, or Direct TV, pardon me, when of course we started to break above $88.66. Go back and find this video. This was actually updated to YouTube. It might have been about 2 weeks ago, but I gave you this trigger here at $88.66. Today, we are starting to break above this, and this is quite incredible because we have such a huge basing pattern. If this is a legitimate breakout, expect a multi-month trend to take place in Direct TV. I'm very excited about this individual trade. If you're not in yet and you're still looking to get involved, have a look about $89.98. This is going back to the break high, going back to May 2014. So the trade isn't over yet. You still have potential to enter into this if you're not already in it. But it's a good time at least to be placing a stake in this, especially with what the markets are doing. Yes, we are overbought, but the trend is up. We can remain overbought for a prolonged period of time. Just sit with the trend. Adjust your stops accordingly when we start to see those, candlesticks, which ultimately we will. I do expect to see the reversal candlesticks a little bit higher up. We do have a little bit more room to run, but ultimately this market is really quite incredible at the moment. It's such a fantastic time to be a swing trader. Apple today had a nice little inside day candlestick, no follow through to the upside. We're just sort of consolidating. We're moving sideways. Let me just bring up these oscillating indicators. You can see just how overbought we are. Now, I referenced this in that Pivot Point Pro weekend class. Pay attention to this time frame, or pay attention to the daily candles, and wait for the pattern breakout before you enter into Apple long. If in fact, and of course only if in fact, the trade does confirm with the move to the upside. So that's the first trade which I wanted to reference. Amazon today was up over $5. Friday we had somewhat of a worrying candlestick. We did have a shooting star on the Thursday, but today we have a very nice bullish engulfing candlestick pattern. I had 2 stops on this trade in the event that it moved against us. That is not the case As at Monday afternoon, 375.70 was the bearish stop, number one. Second stop was 368.90 in the event that it moved against us. It hasn't. It's moving back up towards our entry price at 386.80. Very nice type of candle today. Just sit tight. You can even place your stop below the low of Friday and Thursday right now. Mitigate your risks to really only a couple of dollars on this particular trade, and there's a very good likelihood that this is going to be a trend continuation type of trade. Bar is down at these all-time lows. You know how excited I am on this bar trade. Yes, we were down $1.12. We're not in a positional trade on bar at the moment, but I am very, very excited based on this Bollinger Band squeeze if in fact it continues to set up. It's not there yet, but it's getting very, very close. My original entries still stand on that bar trade. Baidu today had another spinning top, up 80 cents, but I mean, look at it. It's just a horrible sideways market move. Sit tight on Baidu. It's coming towards us. Caterpillar at the moment, spinning top right on that support level. This may be, either the beginning of the breakdown, or it could be the potential basing where we're going to start to turn and break out of this Bollinger Band squeeze. So you can see the Bollinger Band's getting tighter and tighter on Caterpillar. The trade is setting up very, very nicely. Pay attention to Caterpillar as we progress into the week. That is a trade which is set to rocket. FAS, a very nice candle on the daily, engulfing the prior two individual daily candles. You can see these two candles engulfed by Monday's candlestick. A nice little move, $3 up on the FAS. Although we don't have a position, we're very, very close to initiating our next entry. Facebook today is up 81 cents, closed very close to the all-time highs on the daily candle, not the all-time highs, but the highs of the daily candle. Look, it's going to be an ugly ride, but I do expect to hit 81.39. It has been somewhat of a volatile move, but we're above our initial entry price on Facebook. It's a nice looking trade, and you just need to give this one some time. Google today, look at this incredible trade on Google. 548 was the original entry. Re-entry at 562, another re-entry at 572. No matter which way you break down this Google trade, it's been incredible. They are 3 entries from 3 in the past, 4 trading sessions, which have resulted in incredible profit. There's no two ways about that. So it's a fantastic continuation trade on Google. We are being rewarded exceptionally for being disciplined, for following trading plans, understanding how technical analysis works, how it all comes together, and of course waiting for price commitment to trigger in the direction of our overall analysis structure. GoPro today was down $2. It's basing pretty much down at the support level at $40.60. No trade on this particular stock. It is counter trend to the overall market, so it's very weak. GoPro is a very, very weak stock when we compare it to the strength of the markets and the strength of its competitors or other stocks trading at least on the same market when we include the NASDAQ. So this is sort of an exception which is going on at the moment. It doesn't mean that we are short GoPro. It's really just fizzling out. The daily candlestick, we saw a gap down, pretty much a spinning top. No intraday movement to place, even a day trade on GoPro. So it's simply just, yawn and move on. Halliburton today, we have what we call a hammer candlestick. We're not really at a support level. You could say that we are at some form of a, maybe a gap support. It's an ugly looking gap support. We do have a couple of, wicks down here, which is still holding, but it's just generally a trade which, we're looking for a Bollinger Band squeeze on, and you can see right now that yes, it is still presenting itself. It's what I referenced over the weekend again in that 70-minute class where I wanted to see a little bit of buying opportunity to see these Bollinger Bands really constrict price much more tightly, and then we're going to see, a highly volatile breakout. So this is another stock which is going to reward us in the upcoming days. Netflix today, I had so many people, and I saw so much analysis out there saying that, Netflix is going from 500 or 488 all the way down to 380. And you sort of shrug your head to that type of analysis, especially when you're in such a strong bullish trend. Now, I've also seen other analysis, people calling this a double top. And again, I'm just cringing with the analysis. This is not a double top on Netflix. You don't call something a double top, which has been in effect for almost a year. It's incredible how people, can reference themselves as professional analysts and come up with this complete, utter, useless analysis crap, more or less, and people follow it. So pay attention to Netflix. Netflix was up $5 on the daily candle. Please don't misconstrue what I'm saying. Netflix can come down and it can retest these lower levels at the moment, 455. The good news is that we've already closed out of these Netflix trade for incredible profits. We had 2 entries, one back here at 420, another up here at 464. We hit our target twice last week at 484, and at the moment we are completely flat. It is ludicrous to be shorting in the face of such a strong bullish trend, although we can get into a pretty ugly sideways, type of move on Netflix, and that's really what I'm expecting. But to go out and call this a double top and to call it a complete reversal, it's just too premature to be doing such things. And if you're really placing aggressive entries on these particular trades and you're trying to trade the intralow breakdowns, you're just going to get whipsawed to death. So I hope you take that analysis for what it's worth and you trust me and my humble opinion when it comes to trading the US financial markets. Tesla today continuing down from the rejection of that primary trend line. You can see here again, this is somewhat of an exception to the overall markets. We're seeing a great sell-off. We're seeing the primary trend. We do have these intermediate pullbacks back into the primary trend, but ultimately we are resolving ourselves to the downside. Now the thing is with Tesla is that we're getting very, very close to the apex of this descending triangle. You can see right here we've got a downtrend line. We also have some form of support coming through here. What I'm expecting to happen is to see this sort of level out, get very close to the apex of this descending triangle, and then to see the compelling breakout. That's how I'm looking at Tesla. We do have a tentative entry, which we're very, very close to, and it's still a pretty decent trade setup. But I mean, you have to be true to yourself and you have to be realistic. I mean, the markets are continuing to trend higher. You've got a Tesla trade which is trending bearish. Do you want to be placing a counter market trend in such a strong market? With this trade comes additional risk. I want you to know that because at the moment we're not triggered into any bearish positions. If we do, it would be counter trend, and I just need to update you on that particular trade. Twitter today was up 12 cents. It had what we call another hangman candle, saying, place your stop about $47.30. The low was $47.31. So if you're still in the trade, you're treading water, but this is actually a really good buy signal. This is really, one of the buy signals which we'd want to see if we wanted to, see Twitter move higher in the coming days. It may not look like that right now, but it is definitely a buying signal. Summarized mostly by this lower wick, and of course the failure of sellers to hold the lower prices on the daily candle on Twitter. So that's a pretty comprehensive market recap. One other stock which I do follow and share with my personal friends or my personal group of traders in the private mentoring has been Cisco. Cisco, we had an entry at 29.81. This is going back to Thursday. We had a slight pullback on the Friday, but look at that beautiful engulfing candlestick pattern on Monday's trading session. Quite an incredible breakout. Here we are. We're only at $30.18. I've just received some emails from 3 different students saying that they've made over 30% in their options on CSCO, playing very low risk, option types of trades and strategies which I go through with people, and they're up 30% on this particular trade. That's not including the DD trade at 77.05, and it is certainly not including that Visa trade getting in at 274, where we're closing all the way up at $278.10. That's just some of a recap. I also have other trades such as NVDA, please work for me, there we go, which is triggered today about $22.60, a nice volume surge on the daily candle. It's looking very, very strong, holding these levels very, very nicely. And to conclude Monday afternoon's market recap, have a look at the stock of LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn hasn't done all too much today, but I'm really looking for a similar type of gap and go when it decides to break out to what I've just shown you on CSCO, which is Cisco, and of course the NVDA trade. All right, so LinkedIn you can categorize in the same basket as a continuation type of trade, which I'm looking for the week ahead, pardon me, if the markets continue. So you can see the exponential moving averages holding up price very, very nicely. Pay attention to LinkedIn. I mean, it's got a very high probability that it's going to surge, sometime this week. That's just what probability dictates. So have a fantastic Monday evening. If you're interested in the pro analysis class, sign up and have a look at it. It is a fantastic educational resource teaching people how to break down these markets, to break down these trades, and then to do this autonomously for themselves when they feel comfortable in doing so. It's not, a magic analysis class where I just hand out trades. It's actually breaking down and applying the analysis to the markets and to these individual trades forward looking. It's not retrospective, it's looking forward into the current market. And of course, that's a recorded class. You can look at it at any time over the weekend when you have a free hour, an hour and a half. Sit down, make a coffee, watch that Pivot Point Pro Analysis workshop, and set up trades for the week ahead to really, benefit in the way of being an active market participant. So I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching this Monday afternoon market recap. Email me with any questions, success@pivotpoint-trading.com. Have a fantastic Monday evening. I'll see you either, Tuesday or maybe even Wednesday. We'll just see how the market moves tomorrow. And if there's anything which I need to bring to your attention, which warrants so in the way of a big market move, I will do that. So sit tight and you'll hear from me very, very soon. Have a great week, everyone. Goodbye.